too overwhelming, so I started running. It stopped being fun and making myself numb isn't helping. I got to learn to deal with the way I feel. If this is reality, don't know what I expected.
Hi guys, it's Rachelle here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am back with another reading vlog. As you probably saw in the title of this video, in this reading vlog I will be reading Colleen Hoover books. I honestly don't quite understand the hype around these books yet. So far I've only read 2 CoHo books. I read Verity, which I enjoyed a lot, and I also read Ugly Love. That book I didn't really like as much. For those of you who love Ugly Love, I'm so sorry. But yeah, I guess because I've only read 2 books and I enjoyed one and didn't enjoy the other one, I'm not really sure if Colleen Hoover lives up to the hype it gets yet. So that is why I decided to do a CoHo reading vlog. In this video, I want to read a couple more of her books to see if they are worth the hype, in my opinion. I don't really have a plan of what books I'm going to read yet in this video, but I know for sure that I want to read at least 2 or 3 CoHo books. I don't know, I guess I'm just gonna pick which books of hers I'm gonna read on the spot, just because Colleen Hoover has so many books and it's just so hard to decide. But before we get into this reading vlog, let me introduce you to Read Your Heart, who is the sponsor of today's video. The main product of their brand is Moissanite jewelry, which is the best substitute for diamonds. Moissanite is one of the rarest minerals found in nature. It has the same fire and hardness as diamonds, but the price is only a few tenths of diamonds. Another fact about Moissanite is that it is tougher, more durable, and it will not chip easily or lose its brilliance as fast. Some benefits of Moissanite is that it is less expensive per carat than many other gemstones, making it perfect for people who are looking to achieve a superior look to diamonds and pay far less for it. Moissanite is also lab created with minimal environmental impacts such as mining. In fact, Read Your Heart prioritizes environmental and ethical responsibility in the creation of their Moissanite jewelry. Read Your Heart was kind enough to send my way 2 of their pieces. The first piece I got is this Love Knot round Moissanite necklace in sterling silver. What I love most about this piece is how small, simple, and dainty it is. I'm actually not a fan of big, flashy jewelry, especially for everyday wear, so this necklace is actually a perfect fit with my style. They also sent me a pair of their earrings. This style is called the Solitaire Moissanite Fashion 6-prong sterling silver stud earrings. I love the classic and elegant design of these earrings because it makes them suitable for any occasion, whether it's casual or formal. What's great about Read Your Heart's Moissanite jewelry pieces is that they are lead-free, cadmium-free, nickel-free, and allergy-free. You heard that correct, they are harmless to your health. Also, with every piece you purchase from Read Your Heart, they send you a certificate to ensure that your jewelry is real Moissanite. So if you're looking for a more affordable choice than diamonds, you should consider Moissanite jewelry from Read Your Heart. If you use my code Rachelle15, you can get 15% off your order site-wide. Thank you Read Your Heart for sponsoring this video, and without further ado, let's just jump right into this reading vlog. The book I am starting with is It Ends With Us. I've kind of heard mixed things about it. Most of the reviews I've seen, almost everybody seems to love this book, but then there were a couple of people who were like, the book is alright. So I'm curious to see what I would think of this book. I honestly don't know what this book is about. I was very careful when looking at reviews, so I'm kind of going into this book a little blind. All I know is that this is one of Colleen Hoover's popular books. Because I don't know what the book is about, let's read the book description together. Lily hasn't always had it easy, but that's never stopped her from working hard for the life she wants. She's come a long way from the small town in Maine where she grew up. She graduated from college, moved to Boston, and started her own business. So when she feels a spark with a gorgeous neurosurgeon named Ryle, everything in Lily's life suddenly seems almost too good to be true. Ryle is assertive, stubborn, maybe even a little arrogant. He's also sensitive, brilliant, and has a total soft spot for Lily. But Ryle's complete aversion to relationship is disturbing. As questions about her new relationship overwhelm her, so do thoughts of Atlas, her first love and a link to the past she left behind. He was her kindred spirit, her protector. When Atlas suddenly reappears, everything Lily has built with Ryle is threatened. This book sounds really good and I cannot wait to read it, so let's just jump right into it.
Just when I think I've learned it all, I see your face and down I fall.
Hi guys, so I am exactly 100 pages into It Ends With Us, and of course I have some thoughts. Right from the start, this book seems kind of dark. I wouldn't say as dark as something like Verity, but dark in the sense that it covers more heavy and serious topics. I also find it very interesting how Lily and Ryle tell each other their naked truths. I honestly don't think I would be able to tell someone my deepest, darkest thoughts upon meeting them. So that aspect actually pulled me into the story and made me want to keep reading. Also, on the back of the book, the description says Ryle's aversion to relationships is disturbing. Like on page 22, he's like, "The thought of marriage repulses me. I'm almost 30 years old and I have no desire for a wife. I especially don't want children. The only thing I want out of life is success. Lots of it. But if I admit that out loud to anyone, it makes me sound arrogant." I don't know, from that I get a feeling there's more to it to why he's so against relationships, and I really want to know why. I also kind of find it funny and weird how Lily used to write letters to Ellen DeGeneres. And of course through those letters we find out how Lily met Atlas. I think that's a spoiler, so I'm not gonna say it, but oh my god. I did not expect to read what I read about Atlas. That really just shocked me. Can we also just talk about how there's this one scene where Ryle leaves the hospital to find Lily and he's wearing scrubs. I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure no one in real life leaves the hospital wearing their scrubs. Even in Grey's Anatomy, the surgeons don't leave the hospital in their scrubs. I know Grey's Anatomy is only a TV show, but I think the show is a little more accurate than this book. Alright guys, so I just got back home. I did go to the park to read a little bit with one of my friends, but it got cold, so we just sat in the car and read there. But since I last spoke to you guys, I did read a little bit more of It Ends With Us, and I of course have some stuff to share with you guys. I'm not gonna lie, I am actually kind of getting annoyed with the letters to Ellen. It's starting to feel a little cheesy, and I was talking to my friend, the one I just went reading with, and we were both like, yeah, the letters to Ellen kind of just ages the story more. I guess that's just what pop culture references do to a story. Also, I finally know Atlas's backstory, and it is so sad. Starting this book, I had a feeling this book was going to be sad, but I didn't know it gets this sad. I don't know why, but I kind of have a feeling that it just gets even sadder from here. The last thing I have to say so far is that this book talks about abuse. Yeah, it's a really heavy topic. Just the way the story addresses abuse, I really didn't expect it at all. It's a lot. Okay friends, I just reached the end of part 1. So much has happened and there's just some stuff I want to tell you about. So in part 1, we finally meet Atlas. Before he was only mentioned in the letters to Ellen, but oh my god. The interaction where Lily runs into Atlas at the restaurant where he's a waiter, it seems super genuine, like two friends shocked to see each other because, you know, they haven't seen each other in 9 years. But I don't know, it feels a little awkward to me for some reason. We find out that Alice is not just a waiter there. That was actually a complete surprise to me. Also, my feelings weren't wrong. This book does address heavier topics. As far as I know, some trigger warnings of this book is abuse and sexual assault. So if you haven't read this book yet, be prepared to read about those topics. Also, for this book, I don't know which guy I'm supposed to be rooting for. I have a gut feeling that Lily's gonna end up with Atlas at some point, and I feel like I'm supposed to root for them, but then there's Ryle, who's kind of charming right now. I think I just need to keep reading to see which team I'm on. To wrap up part 1 of this book, I've got to say I really like how Colleen Hoover wrote the ending of part 1. It gave me the answers I desperately wanted about Atlas and Lily's story in the past in so much detail. And in the last chapter, we get to see Lily come to terms with what place Atlas holds in her life in the present day, and how she currently views both her relationship with Ryle and Atlas. This whole section was just written so beautifully. I am currently on page 311 and so much has happened. I am definitely no longer team Ryle. In part 2, we get to know the real Ryle. Before he seems great, and once in a while when he does something not so nice, you can easily forgive him, but now I just can't. Ryle eventually tells Lily why he is the way he is, but I just don't think it's a good enough explanation for his behavior. I have about 60 pages left of this book, so we are going to try to finish it right now. Hi guys, it is the next day. I finished this book last night and I'm still not really sure how I feel about it. The story was very sad and it definitely gives you perspective on situations like the one displayed in the book. But for me, I think the intensity of the story just dropped midway through part 2. At some point, it just felt less captivating than the first part of the book. I wouldn't say I was bored or less interested. It was more like it just took more effort to follow the story, if that makes any sense. Part 2 of this book definitely has a lot less letters to Ellen, and after getting a little taste of the story without the letters, I 100% believe the book would have been a better read without the letters completely. I'm just really not a big fan of the letters to Ellen. Yes, the letters unfolded Atlas and Lily's history to us. However, I think there could have been a better way to tell us about their past. Overall, I would say that this book was still a good read. I mean, I was still probably immersed into the story for about 75% of the book, so I ended up giving this book a 3.5 out of 5-star rating. I do want to remind you that if you haven't read this book yet and you plan on reading it, just be prepared to read about very heavy topics. The next Colleen Hoover book I'm going to read in this vlog is November 9. It's not November, but I want to read this book anyways because I heard that this book, the two lovers meet every November 9. I'm not entirely sure if that's correct, but it sounds very interesting. I really want to see how that was written, so that's why I chose this book to read. Other than that, I don't really know what the story is about, so let's read the book description together. Fallon meets Ben, an aspiring novelist, the day before her scheduled cross-country move. Their untimely attraction leads them to spend Fallon's last day in LA together, and her eventful life becomes the creative inspiration Ben has always sought for his novel. Over time, and amidst the various relationships and tribulations of their own separate lives, they continue to meet on the same date every year, until one day Fallon becomes unsure if Ben has been telling her the truth or fabricating a perfect reality for the sake of the ultimate plot twist. Can Ben's relationship with Fallon and simultaneously his novel be considered a love story if it ends in a heartbreak? That sounds like there's something shifty going on in that story, and I kind of want to know what it is, so let's just get reading. Hi guys, it is the next day. I am about a third of the way through the book. When I first started the book, I just thought, man, Fallon's dad is a horrible person. Basically, a few years ago, Fallon was on her way to becoming one of the most top successful young actors out there, but then she got into a house fire accident, which was pretty much her dad's fault. And because of that accident, her acting career just disappeared because she no longer had the good looks to be on screen. So Fallon's dad is like to her, you should consider choosing a different career path now that acting is no longer an option for you. That is just so awful to say to someone, and I'm sure it hurts more when it comes from a parent. What makes it worse is that she wouldn't even be in that position if it weren't for her dad. After reading a little bit of the book, I also now know why the book is called November 9, and that is because Fallon is leaving LA for New York, and she leaves on November 9th, and that's also when she meets Ben. So after spending a few hours together, they develop a connection, and she and Ben agreed to meet up every November 9th for the next 5 years, picking up where they left off, but only for the day. They're also not going to be in contact between each November 9th. I don't know, that arrangement to me is a little weird, and I'm not really liking it. My final thought I have so far is that I get a feeling that Colleen Hoover merges her book worlds. There's a part I read and the name Miles gets thrown in there, and the book also says he's a pilot, and that got me thinking of the book Ugly Love, because in that book there's a character named Miles who's a pilot. I definitely think that Miles in Ugly Love is the same Miles they're referring to in November 9. I have read more of November 9, and I am actually almost done the book. This thing I'm about to tell you something I've been feeling for a little while now. I think Fallon's internal dialogue is kind of annoying. There's moments where I just find her constantly justifying her actions and thoughts, and that really bothers me. I feel like it's alright to do it a couple of times, but she just does it so often, in my opinion, that it just gets on my nerves a little bit. Other than that, I am actually 78% through the book, and there is a huge plot twist that I did not expect. I'm really hoping that this moment is one of those things that can just pull me back into the story, just because I am definitely feeling like I drifted a little bit away from it. Alright guys, I did finish November 9, so I'm going to share with you guys my final thoughts on the book. The more I read this book, the more I wasn't feeling it. This will probably be an unpopular opinion, but I just felt like this particular love story felt a little unrealistic. I honestly believe that love is just something that takes time to settle in, and that would involve spending a lot of time with the significant other. But of course, that didn't happen in this book. Fallon and Ben only spent one day together, which was November 9, over the course of 5 years. Even though those 5 days were a year apart, I just think a lot can change in a year, especially if you don't talk to that person. It's like they met and they instantly fell in love. That is why I just couldn't believe the love story between Ben and Fallon was real. I think the story feeling unrealistic to me made this book a very unsatisfying read, and that of course made the book very difficult to finish. I remember telling you guys that there was a plot twist, and I hoped that that plot twist would pull me back into the story, but unfortunately it didn't. And that is because I didn't really like the answers I was given. Sure, it answered a lot of questions and I was shocked for a split second, but for the most part I was annoyed with the story, and honestly I sped through the chapters just for the sake of wanting to finish the book. Also, in the end of the book, we find out what Ben did, and it is so messed up. I don't know, if I was Fallon, I just don't think I could forgive Ben for what he did, but of course she did, because it's a romance novel and romance novels have happy endings 90% of the time. We end up reading what Fallon thinks after all the answers are revealed, but it really just felt like a forced happy ending. Sorry, I feel like I'm talking shit about this book that so many people love, but it just wasn't it for me, so I gave this book a 2.5 star rating. Okay guys, so I'm gonna end my Colleen Hoover reading vlog here, but overall I think Colleen Hoover's books are a hit or miss. She does write some good books that are very enjoyable, but then there's also some that aren't very good in my opinion. I would definitely say her books are a little overhyped. Out of all the CoHo books I read so far, I think Verity is my favorite, then It Ends With Us, then November 9, and then finally Ugly Love. Alright friends, that is all I have for you in this video. I hope you enjoyed this CoHo reading vlog. If you have read these two books, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I would love to hear what you think. And also comment down below what you're currently reading. I would love to know what you guys are up to right now. Don't forget to also check out Read Your Heart for a really amazing and affordable Moissanite jewelry. Okay guys, if you like this video, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. And with that, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!
Pull the key out the ignition. Run your mouth but I never listen. You hold me back, will never last. Keep talking all your shit. Wondering how all this started. You left me broken hearted. You flip my words, yeah, this love hurts. Keep talking all your shit.